Most zero DTE traders aren't getting wrecked by bad setups. They're getting wrecked by bad assumptions. Today, I'm breaking down 3 of the biggest risk traps I see every day, plus exactly how I've outsmarted each of them before it costs you thousands. If you're new here, my name is Mark Anderson. I'm a construction worker turned zero DT hedge fund manager. I've sold over $100 million in zero DT premium across over 1,000 consecutive market trading days. Let's get into it. Risk trap number 1, optimizing backtests that are just justifying your gambling. Let's talk about the Mondays and Fridays problems. It's true, those are the best performing days in many backtests, but most traders aren't optimizing for edge. They're optimizing to feel safe going bigger and taking more risk. Everyone that trades only on Mondays and Fridays is basically doing that because they have a small account and they are deciding to leverage their account more and more. A lot of traders think they're being systematic, when in reality, they're just using spreadsheets to lie to themselves. Here's the issue. If your trade only works on Mondays and Fridays and doesn't work Tuesday, Thursday, and Wednesday, your system isn't strong. It's fragile. You're not managing your risk. And if Tuesday suddenly becomes the new best performing day like Friday, then what will you do? You've built a strategy that cannot adapt. That's a problem. Real strategies are durable. Trading should work across conditions, not be day-to-day dependent. Risk trap number 2, tight spreads with rose-colored glasses. Let's talk about the ultra-tight spread whiffs, 15 wide or 30 wide. They look safe and they feel safe because you won't get slippage, but in reality, they're not. Traders love to say, I don't need a stop loss, I'm using tight spreads, so I'm avoiding slippage. But here's what they're really missing. With tight spreads, you're actually locking in slippage on entry in every single trade, whether you realize it or not. Let me give you an example. Say you sell a 100 wide spread collecting $3. That wing might cost you only 10 cents. That's just 5 cents of built-in entry slippage on that long leg. Now, if your trading goes up and against you and hits that stop loss, maybe you're paying 20 cents in exit slippage. That's fine. It only happens on about 1/4 of all trades. But here's the trap. If instead you select a 10 wide spread, now you're shopping a $7 short option against a $4 long option. And you're doing it every single time on entry. That bid-ask spread may be 25 cents wide. And that adds up over time with 25 cents of entry slippage on 100% of your trades, which is more than you paid if you just got stopped out once every 4 times on a 100 wide spread on the short leg. So yeah, maybe you don't feel the pain because you're not getting stopped out and seeing the slippage populate on your brokerage platform after a stop loss, but you're still paying the entry slippage guaranteed every time. It's a hidden cost and that adds up over time. That's why these setups often underperform in real markets and they perform worse. Tight spreads encourage overconfidence. You start thinking, this trade is safe, I can go even bigger. So now you're taking larger positions with higher embedded cost and less ability to adapt to markets. Personally, I'd rather trade one 100 wide spread with clean execution and controlled risk than try to stack 2 50 wides or 425 wides and trick myself that I'm safer because those spreads are tight and I'm not using a stop loss, because you're not reducing your risk. You're just moving it where you can't see it. And the third risk trap is the illusion of a backtest without real forward testing. This one's the biggest one I see, and honestly, it's where 90% of traders blow up. They think a spreadsheet and 2 weeks of paper trading means they've validated their system. But a backtest isn't real until you run that setup at actual size with actual money for 3 to 6 months. No changes, no exceptions, not paper trading, not hopping strategies every week, not skipping days or realizing that you don't want to trade because you got nervous, and definitely not panic tweaking the setup the moment it underperforms or takes 2 losses in a row. I get DMs every single week like this. Hey Mark, I've been testing this strategy. What do you think? Then I look closer. They've decided to skip Tuesdays. They doubled their size in week 2. They added a new trade in week 4, and then they rage quit that strategy in week 7. That's not testing. That's not forward testing. That's wishful thinking in spreadsheet form. It's like signing up for a marathon, running twice a month, and wondering why you're not getting faster. Now here's the part most people miss. Forward testing is about paying the fee. This acronym stands for focus, effort, and execution. Focus means breaking down your setup. What's working, what isn't, and what variables actually matter. Effort means showing up every day, even when it's frustrating, even when you're on a losing streak, even when you're in your drawdown. Execution means doing it exactly as designed, at full size, not skipping days, not making needless tweaks. When you forward test something, you're paying to learn. You're not buying profits, you're buying conviction. And that conviction is what keeps you alive when the market inevitably gets weird and changes. Because let's not pretend this is rare. 93% of option traders lose money. 70% of stock pickers lose money. Why? Because they never actually tested anything. If you want to know if your backtest holds up, forward test it at size for 6 months, track everything, log everything, and stick with it. Otherwise, you're not building a system. You're just gambling with prettier charts. Here's how you outsmart all 3 of my traps. So what should you do instead? Here's the unsexy and correct answer. Stay comically small. 1 lots, minimal capital, and 0 ego in your trading. Forward test your exact portfolio at size for 6 months and don't change it. If it works, the edge will still be there. Track everything: entry time, volatility, P&L swings, emotional decisions you've made, and be honest with yourself. Compare your forward results to the original backtest and backtest moving in the forward. Line by line. It's not flashy. What is the variance? That's how you build your conviction, and the conviction is the thing that keeps you alive when the market gets volatile. Why account size matters more than you think. Let's get real for a second. If you're trading with 25 grand or 50 grand and you're panicking over a $400 loss, that's not a trading problem. This is a perspective problem. Most people obsess over tiny P&L swings without realizing that the S&P on average drops 10% every year and 20% every 3 years. No one panics when their 401k is down slightly, but you panic over a $400 loss on a trade that you tested and apparently believe in, and suddenly it's a crisis. You can't be a systematic trader and have a scarcity mindset. You never get past scarcity, you start past it. Those 2 things don't mix. And here's the real killer. It's not the drawdown ruining your growth. It's the mental churn. You're spending 2 hours a day checking your phone, worrying about one position, instead of focusing at your actual day job and building a skill set that can earn you more money. That's the tax. That's the hidden cost in everything you're risking. You choose to take this risk, and here's the truth. Trading does have risk. Some might even call it gambling. But the real traders, we don't deny that. We just manage it better than everyone else. Because just like in professional poker, investing is all about managing your bankroll. There's a reason the exact same 10 guys are at the final table of the World Series of Poker every year. It's not luck. It's skillful risk sizing and discipline over time. That's what lets you stay in the game. And if you need another reminder, here's one of my favorite stats. Roger Federer, arguably the greatest tennis player of all time, won only 54% of the points he played. Half, that's it. He lost almost an entire half of all points he played, but he didn't spiral. He didn't stress out over every mistake. He just kept playing the long game and executing. Federer finished his career winning 54% of his points, 76% of his sets, and 82% of his matches. Trading is the same. You might do everything right and still make no progress for months. This is normal. Even in my own portfolio, where I forward tested all of my strategies and every type of variation I can, the strategies I run lose money 30% of quarters, but they're small losses, and combined with everything, it creates almost always profitable quarters. But I'm not trying to win every day. I'm trying to survive long enough to let my edge play up over time. And if you can't stomach short-term discomfort, you'll never see any long-term results. Here's how to outsmart the 3 biggest risk traps I see in 0DT. 1. Stop cherry-picking your backtests to justify the risk and bad behavior you have. 2. Stop thinking tight spreads make you safer. They often do the opposite. And 3, stop calling it a strategy if you can't actually forward test it for 6 months without moving it. Forward test it, log it, stick to it. Be honest about your size, your patience, your discipline, because the market doesn't care about your intent. It only responds to your actions. If this was helpful and helped you spot a bad habit or avoid costly mistakes, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to go deeper into real strategies that hold up in live markets, check out the next video on this channel where I show you more. See you there.